Good morning, kids. How are you? I hope you all are doing well. Okay, let's start today's session. It is the second part of the how do organisms reproduce. And today we will discuss about the asexual reproduction. Let's start our topic. Asexual reproduction. As I have already told you, in the asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved, only one organism is involved. It is found in the lower organism, right? Like bacteria, fungi, sponge, hydra, etc. And the and some few plants as the algae, fungi, and bryophytes. Okay, now see the basic features of asexual reproduction. The first feature is that only one parent is involved, right? Then second is cell division is in this process is mitotic or amitotic cell division. The next is new individuals are same to their parents. They are genetically identical to their parents, and it is rapid mode of multiplication, no gamete formation, no fertilization, right? Okay, now see types of asexual reproduction. How many types are there? The first is fission, then second is fragmentation, then budding, regeneration, and spore formation. Fission is of two types. The first is binary fission, second is the multiple fission. Here it should be multiple fission, right? Multiple fission. Okay, let's start one by one. The first is fission. Fission means splitting. Fission means splitting. It is the splitting of the unicellular organism into two or more than two parts or daughter cells. Okay. Binary fission uh, is the fission in which parents split into the two daughter cells, mainly two, or in multiple fission it will divide into the so many daughter cells. Example, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, leishmania, etc. Then euglena in this, it is written euglene, it should be euglena, right? You have to involve A also. Leishmania. These are the few examples in which binary fission occurred. Now see, in amoeba, I can explain you with the help of this diagram. Now see, this in the first, we are starting with the parent amoeba. Then the first process is that the nucleus or the nuclear material is divide. It divides into the two parts. Then each nuclei, that one will be in the parent cell and the another nuclei that will move aside, right? ये दोनों में डिवाइड हो जाते हैं, टू साइड्स में चला गया, और द मिडल वॉर्ड जो होती है वो बीच में से डिवाइड होनी शुरू हो जाती है, एंड फाइनली टू डॉटर cells are produced. And this is the formation of two daughter cells from the single parent. Binary fission, this was the binary fission in amoeba, right? Now see next, uh, it is interesting to note that as the parent organism ceases to exist after the division and the two new organisms are produced, and the organisms like the amoeba are said to be immortal, right? Okay, now see next. One more example of the this type of the fission is leishmania. It caused the kala azar. It divides in longitudinal plane. It means the first figure is of leishmania. When it will divide, then it divide in the longitudinal plane. And the second example it is given of the paramecium. Paramecium always divides into the transverse plane. It divides transversely, right? Okay. Now see next. Next is the multiple fission. In multiple fission, the organisms divide or split into a number of new individuals. It is commonly seen in the malarial parasite called Plasmodium. The example is Plasmodium. It is given here. You can see in the diagram. It is malarial parasite Plasmodium. When the conditions are not favorable, cell produce a protective cell wall, protective wall around itself, and the nucleus divide many times to form the many small nuclei. Some cytoplasm also accumulates around it and around each nuclei, and a membrane is also formed around the each nuclei. And finally, in the favorable condition, the outer cell wall rupture and many new individuals they come out. Then this was the multiple fission, because one time many cells, new daughter cells are formed. That's why it is called the multiple fission. Now, next is fragmentation. Next process is next type of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. In some nuclear or multicellular organism, the body is filamentous. It means uh, cell are united end to end to form the thread-like structure. And organism which forms pond scum, that is the Spirogyra. It is a green algae. It also reproduce by this method, by the method of fragmentation. You can see in this diagram, Spirogyra breaks into smaller pieces, and then each piece that grows into a new individual. Therefore, fragmentation is an asexual method of reproduction in which the body of a simple organism breaks up into fragments on maturity, and each fragment grow into a new individual. Okay, now see next one. Next method is budding. It is a production of the new individual from an outgrowth, which is called bud of the parent individual. The example are Hydra and yeast. As you can see in this diagram, see the diagram. This is a yeast cell. Yeast is a unicellular fungi. Yeast is a unicellular fungi. This two example I have given to you. The first it is yeast and second is Hydra. Hydra is multicellular organism. It is multicellular and the yeast is unicellular. Then in this diagram you can see the first is the nucleus of the yeast. It uh, divides into the two, and the one of the daughter nuclei that will move to the bud, and then that bud will detach from the parent cell, and finally it will grow into a new individual, right? Okay, then what happens in the favorable condition? In favorable condition, the second bud is also formed on the first bud, and when it is still attached to the parent cell, then again it divides into again the new yeast cell, it also attached to it. A chain of the new daughter yeast cells can be seen. This happen in the favorable conditions. Okay, now each will detach and grow into a new individual, right? Now next is, see the example of Hydra also. It also reproduced by the process of budding. What happens in the Hydra? During the budding in the Hydra, a small outgrowth or bud is formed on the outer body surface. This is formed by many simple mitotic cell divisions, and the bud gradually grows in size, and mouth and tentacles are formed on its free end, and later on it separates off from the parent Hydra and grow into a new individual, right? Now next is regeneration. Next is regeneration. Some of the organisms have the power or the capacity to regenerate their lost part, while in some organisms each cut part can develop into a new individual. Simply simple animals like the Hydra, planaria, they have the capacity of growing into a new individual by this by the cut body parts. Okay, now see, this is the planaria. This is the example of, this is the diagram of planaria. Now see the planaria, it now cut into the two part, and each part grow into a whole individual. The lost part विल ग्रो। जैसे कि ये सेकंड पार्ट है तो इसका फ्रंट पार्ट नहीं है तो इसमें फ्रंट पार्ट ग्रो हो जाएगा, और फर्स्ट इस वाले पार्ट में लास्ट पार्ट नहीं है तो ये बैक साइड का पार्ट इसमें ग्रो हो जाता है, देन इट विल ग्रो इनटू अ न्यू इंडिविजुअल। दिस इज अ process of regeneration. Okay, now next is spore formation. This is the process of spore formation. uh, in this diagram you can see. Now first thing is, what is spore? Spore is a tiny reproductive structure that is covered by a protective cell wall. You can see in the diagram these tiny dot-like structure. These are the spores. Actually, these are produced in the sporangium. These are produced in sporangium. Fungi and many lower plants reproduce asexually by this method, spore formation. And this, I told you about the spores, and they produce a large number inside the sac-like structure called sporangium. Right? They are called sporangium, and they are carried mile away from the point of their origin to the new place by the wind and in favorable condition. वो ऐसे ही पड़े रहते हैं जब तक कि फेवरेबल कंडीशन ना मिल जाए, और इन फेवरेबल कंडीशन दे ग्रो इनटू अ न्यू individual. The main body of the most of the fungi made up of the long, thin, thread-like structure that is called hypha. That is called hypha. In common bread mold, that is also called rhizopus, these hyphae produce sporangia. And वो जो sporangia जिस hyphae से जुड़े रहते हैं, that structure, thread-like structure, are called sporangiophore. And each sporangia is a knob-like structure and contain hundreds of spores. And spores are released when sporangia burst. You can see ये burst हो रहा है और इसमें से बहुत सारे spores जो हैं वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं, right? Okay, now it is interesting fact to note that the tiny spores of the fungi are almost always present in the air, and they can they can be grown easily if provided with a favorable condition. What are these favorable conditions? जैसे कि उन्हें कोई wet bread मिल जाए, and temperature suitable होना चाहिए, optimum temperature, and the humidity is there, then they will grow. These are the favorable condition for them. Okay, then it is enough for today, and next time I will tell you about the asexual reproduction in the plants. Thank you.